Victoria's heart pounded as she stared at lines of code flickering on her laptop screen in the dark room. Outside, the neon lights of Lagos glowed, but inside the safe house it felt like midnight in her soul. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard when a sudden alert flashed. Security breach detected. Someone was onto them. Behind her boss's eyes narrowed with cold suspicion. In that chilling moment, Vicky knew the walls were closing in from both sides, and one wrong move could be her last. In the bustling city of Lagos, where hope and hustle dance under the hot sun, lived a young programmer named Victoria, known to all as Vicky. She was bright and hardworking, having taught herself to code on a second-hand laptop. Her family was poor but close-knit, and Vicky carried big dreams on her shoulders. Life in Lagos was not easy. Vicky's younger sister, Ada, had fallen gravely ill and needed an expensive surgery. The medical bills were far beyond what Vicky's honest work could cover. Their mother tried to raise money through church donations and help from friends, but it was never enough. Desperation gnawed at Vicky, the kind that makes a good person consider doing anything. One humid evening, as Vicky left the hospital after visiting Ada, she bumped into an old school friend named Chinedu, whom she hadn't seen in years. Back in school, he was a skinny computer geek like her, but now he stepped out of a sleek car wearing designer clothes and a gold watch. He greeted her warmly, and they talked under a flickering streetlight. Vicky admitted her struggles, how she couldn't find a good job, and how her sister was very sick. Chinedu listened sympathetically, then gave a knowing smile. He said he might have an opportunity for her, a way to use her coding skills to earn serious money quickly. It's freelance IT work for clients overseas, he explained casually. The pay is very good. You could take care of Ada's bills in no time. His offer sounded like hope. He invited her to meet his team, promising no pressure. That night, Vicky lay awake thinking about it. She knew fast money in Lagos often meant trouble. Scams were common. She had heard of people falling into crime, but when she thought of Ada, pale and weak in that hospital bed, the fear of losing her sister outweighed all others. She decided to at least see what Chinedu was talking about. The next day, Chinedu took her to a luxury apartment in Lekki, a spacious flat that served as a secret base for a cybercrime ring. Inside, Vicky saw a handful of young men around high-end computers, some typing quickly, others laughing over phone calls. There were wads of cash on the center table and laptops with code running on the screens. Her heart pounded with a mix of awe and anxiety. Chinedu introduced her to the leader of the operation, a man everyone called Chief. He was a middle-aged fellow with a sharp gaze and an oily charm. Chief welcomed Vicky, acting like a kindly mentor. Chinedu says you're a genius with code, he said, offering her a seat. Show me what you can do. On the spot, Chief tested her skills. He asked her to crack a password on a dummy email account. With shaky hands, Vicky wrote a quick script. In just a few minutes, she managed to break in. Impressed grins spread across the room. Chief clapped her on the back. "Welcome aboard, Vicky," he said warmly. That night, sleep escaped Vicky. She had crossed a line she never thought she would, and excitement and fear warred inside her. That was how she became part of the cybercrime ring. They were Yahoo Yahoo boys, internet fraudsters named after Nigeria's Section 419 fraud law, who sent fake emails and sweet messages to trick victims out of money. Vicky never imagined joining their ranks, but here she was, lured by the promise of fast cash to save her sister's life. Chief gave her an advance payment, a fat envelope of cash. For Ada's hospital bills, he said. Vicky's hands trembled as she accepted it. It was more money than she had ever seen. She thanked him softly, tears in her eyes. That money meant hope for Ada. Yet as she slipped the cash into her bag, her mind raced with equal parts gratitude and guilt. She had stepped onto a dangerous path, and deep down she knew it. Over the next few weeks, Vicky learned the ropes of the operation. By day she returned home and pretended to her mother that she had a regular tech job. By night, she was at the safe house helping to run scams. She strengthened their technical arsenal, creating malware, malicious software that could steal passwords, and designing fake websites so realistic they could fool anyone. Each time her program succeeded, the crew cheered and started calling her the Queen of Silicon for her computing prowess. Despite her unease, Vicky felt a grim satisfaction in using her talents at this scale. The money was rolling in. One of her phishing schemes tricked a company employee overseas into revealing bank logins, allowing the team to steal a hefty sum. Chief was overjoyed at the haul and threw a little party in the safe house with loud music and expensive drinks. Vicky watched the others celebrate, flashing cash and car keys to luxury cars. It was dizzying to realize she had contributed to this. She told herself it was a necessary evil just for now. Every naira or dollar Vicky earned went toward Ada's treatment. The surgery was finally scheduled, paid in full by the money she'd gained through these crimes. When she visited Ada in the hospital, Vicky would smile and talk about a new well-paying tech job she got. Ada would squeeze her hand and tell her big sister she was proud. Those moments broke Vicky's heart, even as they strengthened her resolve to see things through a bit longer. Just until Ada is safe, she whispered to herself at night. As time passed, Vicky sank deeper under Chief's control. He trusted her with bigger tasks and counted on her to help plan the most complex scams. The crew targeted wealthy people abroad, impersonating bank officials or long-lost relatives to con them. Some schemes took weeks of careful preparation. Whenever Vicky felt a sting of conscience, she pushed it aside by thinking of her sister, but each lie and each stolen dollar weighed on her spirit. There was always the threat of the law catching up. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) had been cracking down on fraud. Chief bragged that his crew was too smart to be caught. They used secure networks and changed locations often to hide their tracks. Still, every time an unexpected knock came at the door, Vicky's heart jumped. She lived on edge, knowing that if they were busted, everything she'd done would be exposed, and her family's name could be dragged through the mud. One cloudy afternoon, Chief called the team for an urgent meeting. The living room of the safe house fell silent as he turned on the big TV. "We have a big job," Chief announced, barely containing his excitement. On the screen appeared the photograph of a wealthy international CEO known for his charity work. The plan was ambitious: impersonate a well-known charity and convince this CEO to donate a huge sum of money, which the crew would then steal. Chief clicked to the next slide, revealing the logo of the charity they planned to impersonate. Years ago, after Vicky's father died, Help for All volunteers had brought food and supplies to her family. More recently, that same NGO ran a free medical clinic where Ada got medicine during her illness. Their help in her darkest times had felt like a blessing. Now Chief was explaining how they would use Help for All's good name to trick the CEO into thinking his donation would fund clinics for the poor. They would set up fake email addresses, create a copy of the NGO's website, and prepare forged documents. Vicky felt sick to her stomach. She knew her skills would be key to pulling off this deception. After the meeting, the others were buzzing with excitement, but Vicky was silent. Inside her, a storm raged. Conning faceless strangers had been one thing. She tried not to think about the people hurt by their scams. But Help for All was different. This organization had done real good for her family and many others. Using them as a pawn in a fraud felt like a new low, a line she just couldn't cross. That evening, Vicky left the safe house early, claiming she had a headache. She wandered through the busy streets aimlessly, her mind in turmoil. She passed vendors closing their stores and heard the distant call of a bus conductor, but nothing could distract her from the shame and conflict inside. In her mind, she saw the NGO volunteers handing over a box of food to her tearful mother, the kind doctor who treated Ada for free. How could she repay such kindness with betrayal? Vicky realized she was trapped. If she refused to do her part, Chief would be furious. She had seen his ruthlessness before. They would set up fake email addresses, create a copy of the NGO's website, and prepare forged documents. The crew targeted wealthy people abroad, impersonating bank officials or long-lost relatives to con them. Some schemes took weeks of careful preparation. Whenever Vicky felt a sting of conscience, she pushed it aside by thinking of her sister, but each lie and each stolen dollar weighed on her spirit. There was always the threat of the law catching up. The Once he beat a crew member bloody for trying to skim a bit of extra cash. Chief had zero tolerance for disloyalty. If he even suspected her of second thoughts, he might harm her or threaten her family. Yet if she went through with his plan, she would betray the very people who helped save Ada. She could not live with that. Late that night, as her mother and sister slept, Vicky opened her laptop in the dark. With trembling hands, she composed an anonymous message to the EFCC's tip line. She described a planned scam involving Help for All and a target CEO, providing enough details to sound credible but revealing nothing about herself. After a deep breath, she hit send and prayed she was doing the right thing. In the days that followed, the plan at the safe house moved forward at full speed. Chief pushed Vicky to start building the fake website for Help for All. Each keystroke on that project felt like poison to her, but she did as she was told, hoping the authorities would intervene in time. She also began quietly gathering any evidence she could, copying incriminating emails and saving them on a hidden flash drive, just in case she needed to prove everything later. Finally, an answer came. A message popped up in the secure email account Vicky had used. An EFCC officer was asking for more information and a way to communicate safely. Her heart raced as she read it. The officer introduced himself as Detective Femi Okoro. He was cautious, suspecting a trap, and asked for proof that her tip was genuine. Vicky replied with specifics only an insider could know, and pleaded that she wanted to stop the crime but feared for her life. Convinced, Detective Okoro agreed to work with her. They switched to an encrypted chat app for safety. From that night on, Vicky became a secret informant. By day, she continued to act like a loyal member of Chief's crew. By night, she passed information to Femi. She told him everything: the safe house address, the names of the key players, and the timeline of the scam. Femi urged her to stay calm and keep her cover intact. The EFCC planned to catch the ring in the act, but they needed to wait for the right moment when all the main culprits would be present. Tension filled the safe house as the day of the big scam arrived. Thanks to Vicky's skill, the fake Help for All website looked almost identical to the real one. The target CEO had taken the bait. He believed he was communicating with the genuine NGO director and was ready to donate a large sum. A video conference was scheduled to finalize the deal. According to the plan, right after the call, the CEO would transfer the money to a bank account the scammers controlled. What Chief didn't know was that the EFCC had coordinated with the real Help for All and the CEO to turn the tables. They agreed to play along a little longer to gather evidence. Detective Okoro would be on the video call pretending to be the CEO's head of security. Another agent would pose as the NGO's director. It was a risky setup, but if it worked, the scammers would incriminate themselves on camera and the EFCC could swoop in. On the morning of the video call, Vicky could barely steady her hands. She sat in the apartment's small conference area with Chief and two other gang members, each of them at a laptop. Chief insisted Vicky be present to handle any technical issues. She forced a smile and nodded, hiding the dread coiled in her stomach. The call began. On screen, the CEO appeared, a kindly-looking older man in a suit, along with a stern-faced man introduced as his security advisor, Detective Okoro in disguise, and a woman introduced as the NGO's director, another undercover agent. Chief poured on the charm, thanking them for their time and praising the CEO's generosity. Vicky watched tensely, hoping her boss wouldn't sense anything amiss. For a while, the conversation went smoothly, discussing how the donation would be used to help sick children. Suddenly, Chief's phone vibrated on the table with a notification. He glanced at it, and Vicky saw alarm flash in his eyes. Without warning, Chief muted their microphone on the call and stood up abruptly. He shot a deadly glare at Vicky. "We have a rat," he snarled under his breath. Vicky's blood ran cold. Had he figured it out? Before she could speak, one of the other gang members burst into the room, panic on his face. "Chief, the other house was just raided. EFCC got Chindedu and the others," he exclaimed. Chief's face twisted in rage. Betrayal hung heavy in the air. He rounded on Vicky, eyes wild. In one swift motion, he pulled a pistol from under his belt and aimed it straight at her. "You did this, didn't you?" he growled. The other gang member backed away, hands raised. Vicky's heart pounded so hard it hurt. She slowly raised her hands, palms out. On the laptop screen, the CEO and the others could see the chaos unfolding, even if they couldn't hear the muted shouts. Detective Okoro's jaw tightened as he watched Chief brandish the gun. He spoke quickly to someone off camera, triggering the final phase of the operation. Chief was caught off guard. His eyes darted to the screen for a split second. That split second was all Vicky needed. She threw herself to the side, diving away from the line of fire. A gunshot exploded, deafening in the small room. The bullet punched into the wall where she had been standing a heartbeat before, spraying bits of plaster. Before Chief could take another shot, the door to the apartment crashed open. "EFCC, drop your weapon," voices bellowed as armed officers poured in. Chief whirled toward them and fired blindly, but his shot went wide. In the next heartbeat, 2 agents tackled him to the ground. The gun clattered from his grip and skidded across the floor. Another officer seized the gang member, who was cowering in the corner. Vicky crouched against the wall, hands over her ears as the chaos erupted, and then resolved just as fast. "Clear!" someone shouted. Chief, face down and pinned, was quickly handcuffed. An agent pulled him up to his feet. He was breathing hard, defeated and furious. As they dragged him past Vicky, he spat at the floor near her feet. "Traitor!" he snarled, eyes full of hate. "You'll pay for this." She looked away, trembling but grateful to be alive. Outside, dawn was breaking with pale light. EFCC agents led the handcuffed scammers out and secured the site. Officers collected evidence, laptops, phones, the stash of cash, even the flashy sports car parked in the garage. Detective Okoro himself woke Vicky out of the building, a steadying hand on her shoulder. She drew in a deep breath of the cool morning air and felt the weight of months of fear begin to lift from her chest. It was finally over. In the days that followed, news of the cybercrime ring's downfall spread across Nigeria. The EFCC was praised for busting a major Yahoo Yahoo syndicate. No mention was made of the insider who helped. Vicky's role remained confidential for her safety. Vicky knew she wasn't free of consequences. Yes, she had done the right thing at the end, but she had also broken the law along the way. When the dust settled, she fully confessed to her involvement, not hiding anything. To her relief, the authorities showed mercy in light of her cooperation. Instead of prison, Vicky was given a chance to make amends. She helped the EFCC recover stolen funds and worked with a program to educate young people about the dangers of cybercrime. She would be monitored for a time as part of the deal, but it was a far better fate than she imagined. Ada's surgery was successful, and she recovered steadily. When Ada was well enough, Vicky tearfully told her the truth, that the money for the operation had come from crimes. Ada was shocked, but she wrapped her arms around her big sister and cried, thanking her for saving her life and begging her never to do such dangerous things again. Their mother too was heartbroken at first, but she forgave Vicky after learning how her daughter had risked herself to right the wrong. In their little living room at home, they held each other tightly, grateful that the family was intact and that a dark chapter had come to an end. A few weeks later, Vicky visited the local office of Help for All, the NGO she had nearly helped impersonate. She came quietly and met with the director to apologize face to face. The director had heard about the foiled scam. Instead of anger, she showed Vicky empathy and gratitude. "It took courage to do what you did," the director said, holding Vicky's hand. She even suggested that if Vicky wanted to volunteer her tech skills to help their cause, they would welcome her. Vicky was stunned by such forgiveness and kindness. She vowed to herself to live up to that trust. The tale of the Queen of Silicon became a quiet cautionary tale in tech circles. People spoke about how a brilliant young woman fell into cybercrime out of love and desperation, but found redemption by making a courageous choice. In Lagos's bustling tech hubs, where many youths are tempted by the flashy lifestyle of fraudsters, Vicky's story served as a stark reminder that easy money can carry heavy risks, and that every choice has consequences. Under the glow of the city lights that once witnessed her misdeeds, Vicky now walked a different path. She used her coding talents to help local businesses and even assisted the EFCC in fighting scams. It was honest work, and it made her feel whole again. For the first time in a long while, she could sleep at night without guilt. Step by step, she was rebuilding trust with her family, with herself, and in her community. And so the silicon scammer of Lagos ended up becoming an unlikely hero. Her journey showed that no matter how deep someone falls into darkness, it's never too late to step back into the light. Through courage, conscience, and sacrifice, Vicky reclaimed her future and turned a life of crime into a story of hope and redemption. Even in the darkest night, a single act of courage can bring about the dawn of a new beginning.